Welcome back. This is Normalized Breastfeeding Live, and I'm Vanessa Simon, your host, and I am meeting with Robin from Breastfeeding in Combat Boots. Thank you so much for being with us today.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
How are you doing on this first international day to normalize breastfeeding?
Great. For being 11 o'clock at night here on the East Coast.
Definitely. We're trying to reach worldwide, so we've got a large, span of events happening all throughout the day online and also locally here in the United States. But we're so glad you're able to come on and share a little bit about how you're supporting breastfeeding families that are active duty military families. And I think it's pretty awesome. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I know that you are an IBCLC. But tell me a little bit more about your story. How did you first come to, tell me a little bit about your breastfeeding story. Tell me how it all started.
Let's see. That would be back in '96 when my eldest was born, and I was serving active duty in the United States Navy. I was an aircraft mechanic, and at the time there were no policies for breastfeeding in any of the services. 6 weeks after birth, your convalescent leave is over, you go back out on duty. And at 4 months, then at the time you were worldwide deployable, they could send you anywhere. And at the time I was shore duty, so I didn't have to necessarily leave and go on deployment. I planned it that way. But I did have to go out and do little training exercises on board ship and stuff like that. And as an aircraft mechanic, of course, I was working with hazardous materials and around a bunch of men. So that was always very interesting. And nobody really knew how to help me with breastfeeding because the Leche League was wonderful. I got to give props to them. They got me through some tough times. But when you'd go to ask them, what do I do about hazardous materials? What do I do about going back to work and I'm out on the flight line and I don't have any place to pump, and how do I talk to my supervisor about this sort of thing? Not a clue. We're sorry, we don't even know where to look for that information. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself at the time, oh my goodness, I wish somebody would write a book about this. That would be really hopeful. Never thinking, that 20 years later it would be myself that would write the book. And so when my enlistment was up, I got out. My husband, of course, is still in, so he's held down the fort for the military side of the house. And I went back to school, got my IBCLC, went back to school again, got my RN, and during all the process with that, I wrote a pamphlet about breastfeeding in the military for my capstone project, going through school to get my degree, and people got a hold of it and really liked it. And a couple of people that are kind of in the publishing business and that are IBCLC said, you know what, why don't you write a book about this? I'm like, wow. Little old me, write a book? All I'm taking is college English, you're crazy. But the publisher said, yeah, this is a really good idea. We don't have anything written like this. This would be good for police, women that serve in the police, women that are firefighters, anybody that's kind of in an out of ordinary, non-traditional type job. It would be good, for all of them. So I wrote it. It was published in 2010, and here we are.
Wow, that is awesome. So tell me a little bit about, your work as an IBCLC. What do you feel like you have struggled with the most in your work? What is something that you feel like you keep trying to push through and it's not kind of going anywhere? Do you feel like there's anything that you're kind of struggling in as far as supporting these moms that are breastfeeding in the military? I mean, I know that nursing in public is a hot topic. We can go there if you want to go there.
That is a hot topic. But I think probably more than that, just that so many women in the military still, unfortunately, don't think that they can do it. There's still the feeling out there that I can't do it. I got to go back at 6 weeks. My supervisor is not going to let me. Particularly moms in the Army that don't have a policy in place.
So
the Navy moms
in place for Army moms.
Right. The Navy's got a great policy. The Air Force has a great policy. The Marines and Coast Guard both have good policies. The Army doesn't have one at all. So I'm still kind of fighting that whole thing that it's just not going to work. So why do I even start?
Right.
Unfortunately. And then, yeah, the other big one would be the breastfeeding in public / breastfeeding in uniform issue.
Yes, we will definitely talk about that some more. Definitely. So tell me, you know, once you started trying to work with these moms, you know, were you doing like independent like lactation services where you were visiting them and talking with them, or was it more from an outside standpoint where you had the education as IABCLC, but you were more just doing like a lot of like referral type of work?
It's been a little bit of everything.
Okay.
You know, during the time I was writing the book, I started the Facebook page because the selfish reason was I wanted to get stories and feedback and, you know, information, because at that point I was out of the military, to help me write the book. And I wanted real life stories in the book. I didn't want it to just be dry, here's what you need to do, step by step kind of stuff. But then it kind of blossomed and turned into this wonderful virtual sisterhood. You can come on here, you can ask a question, you've got a moderator who happens to be a lactation consultant that can make sure that the information is good. And so a mom stationed in Germany can answer a question for a mom stationed in Japan or out of Australia, or, you know, and of course all over the United States here. And it's just become this wonderful group of women that, you know, support one another. I never in my wildest dreams thought that would happen. So there's a lot that goes on there. The website gets a large amount of personal like emails with moms contacting me asking for help. I have done some Skype consulting with some moms overseas, where, you know, we'd get on Skype and I could actually see what was going on and help them that way. I've done private practice lactation consulting with moms as well here in the Hampton Roads area. And then, you know, my real paying job at the Naval Hospital, I see tons of moms there, of course, as well. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's amazing.
And then just all the advocacy work. You know, people contact me. I've had senators, congresswomen, you know, their people contact me for help with some of the bills that have gone through this whole TRICARE thing. I've done a lot behind the scenes with advocating for that. So yeah, like I said, a little bit of everything.
Very awesome. Very awesome. So you are also on the board for Best for Babes Foundation, correct?
Yes, I am. I'm kind of their military go-to person. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And it's a good outlet for you as well to be able to connect with those moms. I'm sure that there's a lot of military moms that are following Best for Babes. So it's a good outlet for you as well. I think that's awesome that you're connected with you know, a larger organization in that way. Definitely beneficial for you, but also beneficial for them because they have this opportunity to deal with a specific type of mother who has a specific type of need, to be able to help them with those specific issues. So that's very awesome. Very awesome. I'm going to take a moment just to say thank you to all of our co-hosts for the event. I definitely want to thank you for helping us to promote this event, International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding. I know you were really sick and we didn't get your video, but no worries at all. I still am going to shout you out as a co-host. I totally appreciate you, everything that you've done to help us promote. It's been really awesome. What I am going to do is just share with everyone my screen really quickly. Give me 1 second. I'm going to just pull up all of our co-hosts. I think I have it. Let's just go straight to the website. I just want to give everybody a shout out. It's been a few hours since I've been back on the podcast, so I just want to get a chance to definitely name off all of the names. I think I can do that from the event page, actually. Be a little bit easier to get there more quickly. My computer just wants to be slow right now because we're podcasting. So it's taking a minute for it to load. Wait for it to load. And so yeah, you know, this whole day has been so amazing. There's been so much support. There have been so many people posting on this event. I'm going to the page now to try and see if we can see how many people we actually have coming to the event, so that way, you know, we can shout that out as well. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gone viral. It's pretty exciting.
That's a good thing.
It's a great thing, you know, because this is not just about normalized breastfeeding. It's about normalizing breastfeeding,
Yes.
you know, for everyone. And so that's, you know, in the military, that's nursing moms, pumping moms, donating moms, and receiving donor milk moms.
Yes, and we've got plenty of those in the military.
Plenty of those. It's for, you know, normalizing the use of a breast milk bank. You know, it's for normalizing all things breastfeeding related, including breastfeeding your baby to full term. And that includes natural term, which is, you know, the natural weaning age is between 2 and 7. So if a mother is choosing to nurse her baby to natural term, then that is none of your business. It is her right to breastfeed her child as long as she's not in the state of Idaho, and we're working on that. And she has she should be able to nourish her child with breast milk for as long as she wants until they are ready to stop, until the both of them have decided that this breastfeeding relationship is now over. And so I think that that's really, really important. So I'm just going to sorry, I'm catching my words. I'm going to read off our co-hosts right now. Everything's slow on this side. I do have to put my glasses back on, y'all. It is very small lettering. Sorry for the reflection. All right, so we have, well, Vanessa A. Simmons, photographer, that's me, and Canon Perspective Photography. This podcast and Normalized Breastfeeding is brought to you by Canon Perspective Photography. The Nationwide Nursing, Breastfeeding Mama Talk, The Badass Breastfeeder, Breastfeeding Combat Boots, lovely Robin, Breastfeeding, or San Diego Breastfeeding Center, LLC, San Diego Nursing and Public Task Force, San Diego County Breastfeeding Coalition, The Marvelous Milky Mamas, Sage Parenting, The Solar Power System, Momzelle Breastfeeding Apparel, Erin White Photography, Lacey Barrett Photography, Coach Chell's The Mom Life Coach, The Mother Baby Bond, Maha Musa Spiritual Birth Advocate, Respect Mama's Breast, A Human Right, Pretty Mama Breastfeeding, it's prettymb.com, and Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association. So thank you so much to all of our co-hosts. You guys have been amazing. We thank you so much for helping us to promote this event. We've still got a couple more hours to go, and it's going to be over, but it's been the first one. It's been incredibly successful, and I can only imagine the type of turnout we will have next year. So thank you so much again, co-hosts. You guys have been amazing with all the videos and the posts and the tagging. It's just been amazing, and everyone has definitely been informed. It looks like now, at this moment, we have a total of 4,681 participants. So wow. That is huge. And they have taken the pledge to normalize breastfeeding, either as a mother who is providing breast milk to her child, because we don't know which delivery system it may be. And we also have supporters, which can be dads, it can be family members, it can be community organizations, just like us, helping out. We're supporting these breastfeeding moms. And so we've taken the pledge. So thank you all so very much. So I'm going to come back to you, Robin, and I just want to say, I forgot to switch my screen over. I was kind of showing stuff. Anyways, it's okay. So you still look lovely. It's fine. We've had you on the screen the whole time. So I want to thank you, because I am not an active duty military mom, but I have had, those moms come to me for support. And I'm just so grateful for your resource, because I can easily turn around and say, I know who you need to talk to. When it's that specific, it's very easy to say, you know what, I know exactly who you need to talk to. I know who would be a good resource for you, or who would have the information that you need. And so, I'm immediately tagging your page or sending them your link and letting them know, hey, this is who you want to contact. So I just want to say thank you for your service in the military, but also to moms and for the amazing stuff you're doing.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to do it. I just want to support him. That's all it comes back to. I just want to support, because I wanted that support when I was trying to do it. So
Exactly, and it is really about that. You know, it's funny. We had a conversation. I think it was Jill DeLorenzo and Laura Delmonico. They're kind of new to the whole breastfeeding support game, but Jill DeLorenzo's doing a positive breastfeeding kind of campaign, and Laura Delmonico, she actually started the Nationwide Nursing, and so both of them are creating a very strong voice right now, coming up in the breastfeeding community. And we were talking about you know, collaboration over competition. And this is not about, you know, moms, or I'm sorry, breastfeeding support, seeking to, you know, compete with each other. Like, we're all trying to help breastfeeding moms, help breastfeeding families. And if we cannot be together on the same page and on the same level, kind of in the sense of like it's very easy with likes on Facebook, you know, to consider a certain organization, you know, higher up than you because they've got this following, but it doesn't mean that they have your idea, or they doesn't mean that they can support the moms that you can support, you know. All of us have diverse variations of normal. That's what I like to call it, in the sense of what our breastfeeding story entails. And so with that story, we can support a specific type of mother. And so it's important that all of our stories become collaborative so that we can all support everyone, as opposed to one person or one organization trying to support everybody. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
It's impossible. Yeah.
It's literally impossible. Babies are born every single day. A new mother's learning how to breastfeed, I don't know how many times a day. I mean, seriously, it's impossible. And so it's so much more important. And that's the reason I kind of developed this whole virtual co-hosting situation, where we're all coming together and saying, look, this needs to be addressed, or this needs to be promoted, so that there could be more of a collaborative effort to put forth a cause that's larger than each of us ourselves, but something that's so much bigger than us, you know. And so I really think that if we focus on collaboration, we all, including the pages that have, you know, 200,000 followers, when you have more numbers, as far as spread more widely, you have more reach. And so it's easier to reach people that you might not be reaching just with your own resources. And so that's just something that I'm trying to kind of, you know, push forward and let everybody know that, hey, you know, we need to get into the place of pure collaboration and working with one another. And, you know, if it comes down to a place where you might not like a way that I'm dealing with a certain situation, then that's different. You can definitely choose not to collaborate with me. That's totally fine.
That's not going to happen.
Thank you. That makes me feel really good. But I mean, in the sense of, like, you know, if I was saying something that was like completely off, you know, and you say, hey, Vanessa, that's not cool, I would expect somebody to tell me that. I wouldn't expect somebody to just continue following along and I'm doing something that's completely not right, or giving advice that's completely not right, which I tend to really avoid, because I am not a breastfeeding professional. I'm a photographer. I just happen to have a lot of experience personally. And so I generally, like, if I receive messages to the page, I generally do not answer those questions. I'll just tell them I'll post it, and then they can refer to the page for some feedback. But it's nice to have pages like yours where, I mean, you're an IBCLC. They don't have anything to worry about. They know they can ask you the question and get the answer, and that's really, really great. Really, really great. So tell me a little bit about your book.
About my book? My book. Is this a chance where I get to pull it up and show it to everybody?
Yeah, you can definitely do that right now.
There's my book. And this is my actual old original first copy. This is the one that they handed to me right when they got it, like, literally hot off the press. So it's about, actually, how many pages is it? 351 pages of goodness, all about breastfeeding. It's broken down. It starts, you know, with your basics. You know, how do you get started with breastfeeding? Kind of the stuff you'd find in pretty much any good how-to book on breastfeeding. But then we get into the nitty-gritty stuff that has to do with the military, the different policies that are out there, how to talk to your supervisor, pumps, all the different kinds of pumps, and then just getting back on duty, going out on field training exercises, pumping in the back of an aircraft, pumping on board ship, and then overseas, if you send overseas on deployment, how do you deal with that? Shipping your milk home. Got a wonderful story of the mom that shipped her milk home from Afghanistan. Physical training, because that's something you got to deal with in the military. Breastfeeding or pumping in uniform. That's always fun because, you know, they're not made for breastfeeding or pumping in. And then weaning. And of course, one of the parts that I think is the most important is support, particularly from spouses and dads in the military. So it runs the gamut. There, you've got pretty much everything you could possibly need in that book, which is kind of what it's meant for. Mom shouldn't have to carry 2 or 3 books out into the field. It's good if she can have just the one book, and it's available on Kindle as well. So if you want it electronic and don't even want to have to carry the book with you, you can do that as well.
That is awesome. So definitely we're going to be promoting your book and just telling everybody to go out and get their copy if you guys are active duty military. Now this is primarily for an active duty military mother?
Yes, for your active duty, reserves, guard, they'll get a lot of good information out of it too. And you know, I've said it before, if you're in the police forces, if you're a firefighter, any of those kinds of jobs, construction, you'll find a lot of good stuff. I know I've gotten feedback from airline pilots, from stewardesses, those types of jobs as well, that they've found it to be very useful because the information is, while it's specific, it can go to those other jobs as well. So it's not just for the military.
Awesome, awesome. That sounds amazing. So really quickly, I want to ask you about this whole nursing in public in uniform situation. Let's break open this can of worms. So it all started when a Marine Corps mama, right? It was 2 Marine Corps women who were sitting on a bench. They're Marine Corps, right? Or were they National Guard?
Those are National Guard. I know which story you're talking about because there's been a couple of them here.
I'm going to pull up their photo. Can you give me a resource really quick of who I would type into a Google search?
Oh, just type into Google search breastfeeding in uniform. It'll pop up.
Okay.
I was doing that just the other day looking for something else, and I was like, man, that's still all over the interwebs. It's never going to go away.
I'm going to look right now. Oh, yeah. Wow. That was the first thing that popped up. I'm going to show you with my screen really quick how quickly that popped up. My goodness. That actually really threw me off there. Here we go. Oh, let me see.
You want to talk about something that went viral. That was Memorial Day weekend of 2012.
Really?
And that photo went nuts. I thought my website was going to crash and burn.
Check this out. Oh my goodness. I mean, that was the first thing I typed in, breastfeeding in uniform, and boom, all of these images. Okay, let me go here. So just tell me a little bit about, you know, this image, these images. I'm going to scroll through them. We can see, oh, this looks like maybe a low resolution. Oh, okay, it's just loading. Oh, so we've got a bunch here on the top as well. So tell me a little bit about these moms. You know these moms, right?
Yes, basically they were out of Fairchild Air Force Base up in Washington, and they wanted to get some photos taken so that they could put them up in their medical clinic because, as I agree with them, when moms see breastfeeding, they're more likely to want to do it, to feel supported. Hey, you know, and especially if you see somebody that looks like you. So do we ever see any pictures of moms in uniform breastfeeding? No, we do not. So that kind of keeps it hidden, and you kind of don't think, well, you know, maybe it's even happening because you don't ever see it. So that was what the thought was. They had permission for that. I want to make that clear because that seemed to get lost in this whole thing. They had permission to do this. What nobody expected was that it was going to go viral like this and get picked up by everybody from Time Magazine to, you know, CNN. I mean, it went all over the place that weekend.
Right.
And the amount of flack and feedback and honestly horrific things that were said about how disgraceful it was to the uniform, how disgraceful it was to the United States, it was shocking. And a lot of those comments came from other women in the military, which personally I kind of found the most hurtful. I expected them from the men, but I did not expect to hear that from the other women.
Right.
And that was very unfortunate. So
Oh,
I think they're
definitely.
gorgeous pictures. I think they show a lot of strength,
Yes.
that you can do, you know, both these things. You can do this wonderful act of breastfeeding and you serve your country. I mean, what's not to like? But a lot of the arguments were that, you know, it was out of uniform, that you know, if you're in any kind of command, that your soldiers that are, you know, underneath you in command would now not see you as, you know, as strong and in command as you would be if they hadn't seen that photo. That was just some of the arguments that I heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's really sad, because if it was like the partner of this mom, he would probably see her as even more strong, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting how we, you know, we kind of put a little bit of a downplay on. I mean, it's a very, it's kind of almost sexist to say something like that. You're gonna look at them differently because, you know, her boob is out, but her boob is not out for no reason. It's different if she's walking around in a skinny tight dress with her boob out, but she's not. She's breastfeeding her babies. She's
Yep.
feeding her children. She's nourishing them. She's comforting them. You know what I mean? Maybe they were more concerned with the cleavage, but
Yes.
either way, if there's a baby attached to that boob, her boob is not out for the wrong reason.
And that was the other complaint, that it was sexual, that you can't do that in uniform because it's sexual. I mean, that's the argument that always comes up. The other one that I heard and that I still hear to this day is that women are making all of these strides in the military. We scream and yell, we want equality. We want our women to pass, you know, ranger school. But then you go and do something like this, and that just knocks all of the women, you know, back again, you know, 15, 20 years and all of the progress that we've made. Again, I don't see that. I don't understand how the two even coexist.
Exactly. I mean,
Especially this photograph. I mean, is that not badass? Is that not saying, look what I can do? I've nourished this toddler on my breast milk and I serve my country. And that look she's giving you says, I dare you to tell me otherwise.
And you know what? It's funny that you say that look, you know, like I think about the image also that I have of the mom that I photographed, and you know, it went viral for all the wrong reasons.
Sure
and
did.
people totally, I mean, shamed her to the point that she left Facebook. Let me pull it up really quickly, see if I can find the original one that was you know, I almost took it down because I was getting threats, pretty much. I mean, I was getting threats on my personal Facebook. I don't even know how they found me, I think, because of the SMLOP. Is it SMLOP? Or SMLPO?
Oh, yes. I know which one you're saying. SLPO.
That's what my LPO says. Yes. For whatever reason, they decided to post my message to them, which was basically telling them they did not have permission to use my image. Obviously, they pulled the whole, like, you posted on Facebook, whatever, fair game. But the issue for me was that, you know, I just felt like, you know, you didn't have to even go there. And then on top of that, they posted my message. So it was kind of crazy. Sorry, my messages are open here. I wasn't ready for that. I'm just going to look for the picture really quickly. So this is the newest one, but I want to find the old one that went viral for all the wrong reasons. Oops, I want to see photos.
Yeah, I got a few threats on my page after that picture went viral too, but
yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just crazy, you know. I wish I could put them up side by side and show you here. But what I have is, sorry, my computer's new and I'm still getting used to all these functions. Let's see, where is it? Got the video scan.
I'm pretty sure I still got it on my page somewhere too.
Yeah, I just don't see it though. It was rather recent. I mean, it wasn't that old.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, there she is again, but it was a selfie. We just post a lot of pictures, so it could
So
just be that. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, I don't see it here, and I think it's kind of refreshing. Facebook, if you're listening, I don't like that. I don't like that it refreshes without me like telling it to refresh. It just kind of like refreshes the page, and then I can't find what I'm looking for. And I just really don't know how far back it went, but I don't see it here. So what I'm gonna do is show you guys the updated photograph. It's not really updated, it's from the same session. It's just a different look to it. It's down further.
There it is.
So this is the cover image that we used for the event today. I mean, this is strength. Yep. This is beauty. You know, this is something absolutely precious. And funny thing is, you know, it was requested for by Stars and Stripes.
Sure was.
They requested this particular image, and I was so grateful because I felt really at a loss that I wasn't able to do more with her images. I felt like, you know, like let's say, okay, she got in trouble for doing the image. Like at least if it would have gone viral for the right reasons, then it would have been totally worth it. But because it went viral for all the wrong reasons and people were bashing her the way that they did, it put it in a place where it was like, dang, we can't use these images anymore. And as a photographer, especially with an image like this, it's like, man, it's such a bummer, you know? It made me feel horrible, and it made me feel like my work wasn't worthy, even though I knew there was a lot of, you know, politics involved in as to why we couldn't use image. So when you told me that you were doing this article with the Stars and Stripes, you know, it made me feel awesome, and the fact that you guys were requesting the image, and the fact that we were able to use kind of the pitch from the article to now talk to the CEO, and the CEO was like, okay, yeah, we can do this. And then having that kind of just flow to where we were able to get the approval. I mean, it really, really made a huge difference. And now people aren't looking at it in that light because it came out of a military source, which is Stars and Stripes.
Yes.
And so that was the unparalleled opportunity to get this out there in the positive light. And so I'm sure people have a problem with the fact that she's in her work duty uniform out on the street. Okay, that's fine. However, if your infant or, you know, nursling, whatever the age is, needing to nurse and you are in the street, please do not tell me that you are going to let that baby cry until you get back to your car. This is very important. I'm sorry.
As we have found with some moms, they're at medical because said, you know, 2-month-old, 4-month-old, 6-month-old has a well child visit, and she picked the baby up from daycare, didn't have time to change out of uniform, needs to make it to the appointment, and baby's hungry. What's she supposed to do? Not feed the baby? Have pumped milk ahead of time so that she feeds the baby with a bottle, and then her breasts are sitting there filling up with more milk, and she can't do anything to relieve it? I mean, you know, come on, people. Let's use our brains.
Exactly. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you just kind of have to, with those type of people, it's like, I just choose like not even to reply, even though I could be educating them and I could be saying my opinion, this and that. I feel like it's a waste of my time and a waste of space on Facebook. I just refuse to engage. And I don't know if that's a bad position, but I feel like I'm going to keep myself from furthering my cause as I'm wasting time on communicating and engaging with this person who doesn't give a crap about what I'm trying to promote. I mean, And I guess that's why also, like, on our page, if people post like negative, rude, or sexual comments about our breastfeeding moms and their photographs, it's deleted. I mean, it's gone.
Yeah.
As soon as I see it, it's gone. And this is because this is a public breastfeeding support group. So even though their stuff is public, they have the right to share whatever they want. It's public and all that, but we have page rules that say that if you're using harmful, bashing, hateful type of language or comments, or making the mother feel shame, you're gone. You're done. I'm banning you from the page. It's not personal. It's just that's not what we're looking for here. And I don't want you attracting all of your friends' list to come and do the same. So I kind of just weed them out.
Same on Breastfeeding Combat Boots. I'm doing the same thing, and it's in my guidelines on the page too. So be respectful or leave.
Exactly.
Or you'll be made to leave.
And if you don't have, it's like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. If you want to just look at the conversation and read it for your own personal benefit, great. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. But once you start commenting and making it seem like this mother is in the wrong, instead of you who's just jumped into this conversation and probably knows nothing about breastfeeding or is assuming that they know everything about breastfeeding, then I'm just going to have to say bye, and not even really worry about, having you engaging on our posts on our page. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing that too. I think it's very crucial, especially when it comes to supporting moms. You don't want them to go back to a post that they asked you to post and then they see a bunch of negative comments. That's going to deter her from wanting to continue breastfeeding.
Yep.
I mean, it's a very, very simple type of thing. And it's something for me that I started to see when I didn't respond. Like, let's say I was just cleaning my house. I do that, people. I do.
I know. We all do. I'm not on Facebook 24/7. Sorry.
Exactly. I mean, I'm on Facebook from my phone. So if I'm on Facebook from my phone, that means that I'm doing other things. So if I put my phone on vibrate and forget to take it off, I probably missed your message, or I probably missed a comment. But I love the fact that my other moms that are a little bit stronger or been breastfeeding longer will step in and say, admin, we need to handle this.
Yeah.
If I get that text or a comment or whatever, then I'm able to go in and secure it. I used to spend a lot more time on Facebook than I do now. I mean, I have spent a lot of time in the last month for International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding. It was a lot of organization on Facebook. But I definitely will be taking a little bit of a break. And I'm definitely Facebooked out. But I definitely feel like, that's one way that we can really support moms on these Facebook pages is by really monitoring the page and really making sure that we have help to be able to moderate and get those people who are not there to support, just get them off the page, because they're gonna deter these mothers from the goal that we have set in mind, So I am actually okay. So sorry, I don't have my glasses on. I'm looking at the computer. So I'm gonna give you now a chance to do your shameless plug. We're gonna end a few minutes early because I have back-to-back posts all the way until 11 p.m. tonight, and so I just want to make sure that I get the other podcast panelists on in time. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on with me and joining me and talking about everything. And I would like for you to go ahead and do your shameless plug.
My shameless plug. All right. Well, the shirt is one shameless plug here. So Breastfeeding and Combat Boots.
You're also a tatted mama.
Also a tatted mama. Oh, yes.
Dude, I need to photograph you, like tatted IBCLC. That's awesome. Right there.
Yes, the next time I'm out in California, because my family's out there, I got to come down and meet you in person.
Oh, definitely.
And say hello to my peeps in San Diego, because that's where I got my start, and I know lots of people in San Diego.
Wow, that's awesome. Yes, yeah. We definitely need to connect.
Shout out to the Leche League of San Diego. Any of the leaders still out there? That's where I got my start, y'all.
Nice.
Yes. So the book, I do have it available, autographed copies on my website. That's the only place you can get the autographed copies. So www.breastfeedingandcombatboots.com. Yes, it's a whole huge long to type in. Sorry about that. I have my challenge coins there. I have the t-shirts. I have new water bottles that are in. Of course, the Facebook page. You can definitely go to the Facebook page for all kinds of good information and support that's, you know, in real life. And what else? I think that's it. That's my shameless plug. Come visit me.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I'll do one really quickly for normalizedbreastfeeding.org. Today is International Day to Normalize Breastfeeding still in the United States. I know that we're already into Sunday now in Australia, who I'm going to be podcasting with up next. Live.
Almost Sunday here, too.
Yeah. Oh, almost. Yeah, yeah. So with Maha Musa, she's coming up next. She's the 52-year-old mom breastfeeding her 6-year-old in Australia. So definitely stick around for that. If you want to get to that podcast, you'll go out of this one into the description of this podcast. And right under the description, you'll see the link to go to the next podcast. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, and also to show off my shirt too. We've got the Normalized Breastfeeding shirt. Sorry for the boobs, but we definitely want to plug that and let you know that if you purchase a shirt, it'll help us to go on tour and do our meetup tour to all of our groups. We've got groups stretching from Australia all the way to Canada and all around the United States. So I just want to say thanks so much to everybody who has been listening in. And also, Robin, thank you so much for all of your hard work, your amazing effort. I mean, you've literally built Breastfeeding Combat Boots up from the ground, and there's nothing else like it right now. And even if something else was to spring up, you are the trailblazer. You have done the work. So thank you so much for all of your hard work and everything that you're doing to support breastfeeding moms in the military.
No problem. Happy to do it. Thanks for having me, Vanessa.
Definitely, definitely. All right. So I will chat with you later, and everyone else, you guys can go to the next podcast in the description. See you guys. Bye.